Well, it's certainly been months since I made my last fighting ranking video, and since then a lot of changes have been made and we've gotten 3 new classes. So in the spirit of, views I guess, I will be revisiting and remaking my old tier list. This time, however, I'll go in their fighter order, instead of worst to best or anything. Also, here's a fun fact. Anytime I say the word fighting or something that begins with an F, I spelled it with a PH, just because of the memes. Why did I say that? One big thing I want to stress is that fighting tier lists can differ a lot based on who mains what character, so please keep that in mind that this tier list comes from the perspective of a casual Biographed and Hyper Laser main. Now with that out of the way, let's jump into the ranking. First up is Sword, who I like to call the jack of all trades and master of all. Sword is tanky, highly mobile with 2 mobility attacks, a zoner with 2 ranged attacks, and a rushdown with 2 distance closing attacks. Despite his nerfs in recent days, he's still a force to be reckoned with, and for all those reasons, Sword gets the A tier. Next is Skateboard. Skateboard is a tanky mobility class that serves as a good rushdown. His drawbacks are that he needs momentum to be effective, and that he has no ranged attacks. I'll put Skateboard in high B tier, but given the fact that he has no ranged attack, it's certainly a detriment, combined with the fact that he's not very good on small, twistier maps. He's very strong though, don't get me wrong, just not as useful as Sword. Biographed is a glass cannon rushdown character whose job is to be as aggressive as possible. Despite having low HP, Biographed can deal insane damage very quickly. He's perfect for tearing into backliners or hunting down weaker opponents. Combined with the fact that he's so mobile and the fact that he has multiple ranged moves makes him an easy S tier in my eyes. Ooh, Rocket. Rocket used to be super strong, however, in the most recent patches, the poor guy's essentially been neutered. He's a glass cannon, crowd-controlled character that does big splash damage. Unfortunately, that splash isn't very much anymore. But hey, at least he's pretty mobile, and his ultimate is one of the best in the game. Regardless, he's still going to be a B tier. Not bad at all, but nowhere near as strong as he used to be. Slingshot is an easy S tier, and here's why. He's a zoner / mobility class that does insane damage, and if you have your ult and use it sparingly, never has to touch the ground at all. He has a double jump, as well as an air stall, as well as air stalling moves. Some of his shots even stun. There's really nothing bad about Slingshot aside from his low HP, but that seems like slim pickings after knowing the horrors of facing a Slingshot user who knows what they're doing. Medkit has gotten much better since I made my first tier list. Medkit is a support and healer that is surprisingly deadly now. Between his teleporter and his self-heal, a medkit actually doing their job can be the difference between life and death. All their moves perform their purposes adequately, and in general, medkit is pretty cool. Their only downside right now is that medkit's ultimate is kind of janky. But aside from that, I'd say medkit is a solid A tier. Hyper Laser, as I said earlier, is my other main. I love playing Hyper Laser because I get to snipe people, and it's quite satisfying. Despite this, I am putting him in C tier. By design, Hyper Laser is easily exploitable due to his lack of mobility and close-range moves. His one get-off-me tool is just okay, and if a Biographed approaches, you might as well just reset. Hyper Laser isn't bad by any stretch of the imagination, however, there's just a lot that can counter him. Boombox is a support and tank class that is focused primarily on providing shields for their allies to use. He also has decent mobility and a great ultimate. Although he has been nerfed a bit since the last tier list video, he's still a nice beefcake class that can provide good support, earning him the A tier. And lastly, Subspace. I have a lot to say about him. Spoiler alert, I think he's kinda terrible. Subspace is a backline trapper that places down bombs that can be remote detonated. Now, I love the concept. In Decaying Winter, I play the class Blitzer, which is basically the exact same thing. However, at least in my opinion, he just doesn't work. I'll start with the positives though. His passive is great. If you manage to get many assists, it will really help you out. Secondly, his ultimate. While Slingshot and Biograph can easily escape, this ultimate easily dominates the Conquest game mode. Speaking of that leads into my final point. This guy is really good for that mode. If he can stay on the point and just line it with bombs, he has a really good thing going for him. Now for the bad. His left and right mouse button attacks are pathetically slow and predictable. I get it's kind of accurate to the actual Subspace tripmine and all that, but that doesn't make it good. The detonation has a 2-second delay, and the explosion radius is pretty tiny. Also, fighting is a very fast-paced and mobile game where almost everyone is moving at top speed. and when there is no point to capture, it's nearly impossible to bait people with the tiny subspace traps. Finally, Subspace actually hurts himself with his bombs. That isn't terrible on his own until you consider that his bombs also poison you. With that in mind, here's a tip for dealing with Subspace. Just approach him as a fast character. They'll panic and poison themselves, and then you just have to get a few hits in and it's over for them. It's so simple to troll Subspaces even as a hyper laser. So for that, he's going into the terrible tier. But anyways, that's all I've got to say for this video. What do you think? Agree? Disagree? Let me know in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe as we're very close to 4K, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.